WWE Fastlane is in the books now as we are officially on the road to WrestleMania, with WrestleMania 35 being the next upcoming pay-per-view on the WWE schedule. We'll also have NXT TakeOver Blacklist 2 nights before that, with the Hall of Fame ceremony in between on Saturday night in Brooklyn, New York. So Fastlane was this past Sunday, March the 10th, in Cleveland, Ohio, and we had about 8 matches total. They did add a couple throughout the night as well. So there originally were supposed to be 2 on the kickoff show. One was Rey Mysterio versus Andrade in a regular singles match, and then they were supposed to have a New Day and Rusev Shinsuke Nakamura tag team match, and that one actually took place. The latter of that, the New Day, it was Xavier and Big E, because Kofi was going to, he was supposed to be in the WWE title match, but then got pulled because Kevin Owens returned. But as the show went on, it was right after the New Day's match, so there was only one match on the kickoff show then, long story short, because the Rey Mysterio Andrade match became a fatal 4-way, a rematch for the U.S. title, Samoa Joe defending versus both Rey Mysterio and Andrade, and also R-Truth, who lost it to Samoa Joe in a fatal 4-way. As I said, a rematch from the previous week on SmackDown, the SmackDown that I attended in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Videos from that, including a full dark match between Randy Orton and AJ Styles, are right here on the channel, so go check that out. Share that. Like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, GoHandLuke96, on social media. The links are in the description below, as usual. So, yeah, the Mysterio Andrade match got made into a fatal 4-way, and then New Day, Xavier Woods, and Big E versus Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. That that happened at Fastlane on Sunday. And the New Day ended up winning, and then they were actually walking backstage before a WWE personnel guy, WWE employee in general, I don't know who the hell it was, stopped them and said, "Kofi, you need to go see Vince immediately." So that's what Kofi did. This actually, was that right before the match? It was either right before or right after. And then the New Day ended up defeated Rusev and Nakamura in the only match on the kickoff show then on Sunday at Fastlane. So then, like I said, Mysterio Andrade, that was a fatal 4-way then with Joe and Truth for the U.S. title. Samoa Joe retained. I thought that was another damn good match. So a little spoiler on that as well. And then to kick off the show, since they were in Cleveland, we had the Miz and Shane McMahon, co-besties, the best tag team in the world, go up against the Usos for the SmackDown Live tag titles. And then the Usos ended up winning, as I thought they would. And then also, as I thought, one of the members of co-besties, best tag team in the world, the Miz and Shano, one of them I knew was going to turn. I just didn't know who it was going to be. It ended up being Shane. So Shane turned on the Miz because they were walking around ringside there. Miz's dad, George Mizanin, was in attendance front row for this, as they were in Cleveland, Miz's hometown. And then Miz started walking away. Shane attacked him from behind, and then Shane also put his hands on Miz's dad too. So we'll have to see what they do moving forward with this, but it looks like, as I thought, it'd be a singles match at WrestleMania 35 now between The Miz and Shane McMahon. So the Usos, they won. What was next? Asuka, Mandy Rose. Asuka defeated Mandy Rose to retain the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, just as I thought as well. I mean, like I said in my predictions last week, on Sunday, if you tuned in and watched my live reactions of the pay-per-view, thank you for that one. But I said as well, this pay-per-view, Fastlane 2019 in the WWE, one of the most predictable cards for pay-per-view in recent memory. So I picked Asuka. She won. I mean, I really shouldn't even go in order. I mean, I can if you want me to. I mean, it really doesn't matter. But next they added a match with Kofi Kingston, because by this point it was like 8 o'clock, and they walk into, Kofi is still standing outside of Vince's office, and then the New Day comes back and like, what the hell are you waiting for? Like, you know, he told you to come by an hour ago. They walk in, and then Vince is all pissed off, saying that he's been waiting inside for Kofi for an hour. So he then made the WWE title match between Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens a triple threat. But however, he did not say Kofi was actually inserted into that match. He just said it was a triple threat. So Mustafa Ali actually got inserted into that later on. He ended up taking the pin. Daniel Bryan retained, so a little bit of a spoiler there as well. And then they actually added a 2-on-1 handicap match with Kofi Kingston, because Vince had said whenever they had finally met, that his match was next. But like I said, he didn't actually say he was in the triple threat. He just said that match is next. So Kofi had a 2-on-1 handicap match versus the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. The Bar ended up winning. It was a beatdown. And this storyline with Kofi, I think it's going to be a lot like with Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30. At least that's what it's looking like, feeling like at least. He's down at the bottom right now. He's down in the dumps, and he's trying to work his way up. But the Authority is, they're just hammering him. And, they just won't let him get to the top. But it's all going to lead to Kofi probably winning the title at Mania now. Because then you don't add him in this triple threat. You save the singles match, or maybe a triple threat with Daniel Bryan, Owens, and Kingston for Mania, but it's probably going to be a singles match. I still think they should move Owens to the U.S. title picture, depending on what they do with John Cena. There's rumors out there, I think they're just trying to get some noise flowing their way, that they're saying WWE doesn't know what the hell they're doing for WrestleMania still. Believe me, they know what the hell they're doing. They're, less than a month away now from WrestleMania 35 in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So, there might be some last-minute changes, match-wise and whatnot. But Kofi's going to face Bryan. Owens might be a triple threat as well with that. But I think they should put Owens in the U.S. title picture, because on Samoa Joe, as I said a little bit ago, spoiled that he retained over Rey Mysterio, Andrade, and R-Truth once again. And at that point, he wouldn't have an opponent for WrestleMania, Samoa Joe, if they do something else with John Cena. Because it's looking like it's going to be Cena and Joe, and I don't have a problem with that. I said it last week, but I'd rather have Owens Joe instead of Cena Joe. Have Cena do, or go up against McIntyre or Corbin or somebody from Raw maybe. Who knows? We'll have to find out and see. Like I said, I believe the card is basically all set in stone, and in the upcoming weeks on both Raw and SmackDown, they'll be making everything official. Last night as well, Ronda came out and she helped Becky win. Becky won by DQ, so a win's a win. She'll now be facing both Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair in a triple threat match for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 35. So let's move on, see what else happened at Fastlane on Sunday night. So far, I've gone over Samoa Joe retaining, the Bar winning, the Usos retaining, and then Asuka also retaining her championship, the SmackDown Live Women's title. So then, go to the Raw side here. I said the Usos retained the SmackDown Live tag titles, while the Revival also retained the Raw tag titles. So both Raw and SmackDown Live tag team champions, they both retain at Fastlane on Sunday. Revival defeated both Aleister Black and Ricochet and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Chad Gable ended up taking the pin. At that point in time, this was right after the Bar Kofi Kingston match, so technically I am still going in order. I like to go in order, so hopefully you like it. The Revival, Aleister Black, Ricochet, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Raw tag team title match. At that point in time, like I said, I'm pretty sure this was right after the Bar Kofi Kingston handicap match. At this point in time on Sunday at Fastlane, this was the best match. It was up there for best match of the night too, as the night progressed. But I thought Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Mustafa Ali was pretty damn good as well. Along with the Shield, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre match that ended up main eventing the pay-per-view on Sunday. Now, a lot of people thought, from what I've heard at least, since Fastlane got over just a short time ago, that it was bad. The pay-per-view as a whole was awful. Like, they didn't like it. Yeah, it was predictable, but you still got to watch it for the wrestling. I get, WrestleMania's right around the corner and whatnot, and they're basically figuring everything out that they want to do, setting everything up. But wrestling-wise, I thought it was a damn good pay-per-view. I thought Fastlane, to be honest with you, in my opinion, was better than the Elimination Chamber, and I believe I said that during the live reactions, minus the 2 Elimination Chamber matches. We'll say the one, because the women's tag Elimination Chamber match really wasn't anything special, because it was the first women's Elimination Chamber match for the new WWE Women's Tag Team titles that actually were also defended on Sunday at Fastlane. The Boston Hug Connection of Bayley and Sasha Banks defeated Nia Jackson Tamina to retain. And then Beth Phoenix was actually on commentary for this, and she actually got involved, so we'll have to see if they insert her into a storyline moving towards WrestleMania. I'm thinking it's going to be a Fatal 4-Way or a 5-Way now at WrestleMania for the women's tag titles. We'll have to find out and see, though. And to be honest with you, and I think a lot of people have noticed this as well, they said that Bayley and Sasha would be on all brands. They have been on NXT. They crashed a couple NXT live events and tapings down in the Florida area, but they have yet to be on SmackDown Live. So I don't know if they're going to put them on SmackDown sometime soon or not, but they've only been on Raw, and then up to this point, just Raw, because the NXT tapings that they attended hasn't aired yet, I don't believe. And then obviously a live event, those aren't televised. So we'll have to see what they do with that moving forward too. But Fastlane as a whole, I'll say this now, like I just said a moment ago, I thought it was pretty damn good. I thought it was better than Elimination Chamber. That was last month in Houston. Houston, by the way, if you guys didn't know, will be having the Royal Rumble next year at Minute Maid Park, home of the Houston Astros in the MLB. So the WWE, 2 years in a row now, and 3 out of the last 4, they will have the Royal Rumble in a stadium, either a football or a baseball stadium. 2 years in a row at baseball, and then 3 of the past 4, because it'll be almost 4 years ago now that they had it in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. So, yeah. Move on. What else we got? Asuka, Mandy Rose, already went over that. She won. Boston Hug Connection. They defeated Nia and Tamina. Revival won. The Usos. The Bar, Samoa Joe. Okay, we got Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens. And then Mustafa Ali, they inserted him into that. I thought this match was pretty good. Daniel Bryan retained, pinned Mustafa Ali, and he was only in the match to take the pin, long story short. They might still, like I said a moment ago, be a triple threat with Bryan, Owens, and Kofi, if they want a triple threat, to save maybe Bryan or Owens for the future, for over the summer. But Kofi, he'll win the title at Mania, I think, right now. He's really over with the entire company, I think, and entire WWE universe as well. So, yeah, Daniel Bryan won. Becky Lynch, she also won, like I said. I've been spoiling a lot of stuff, so basically really no point in talking about going into exact detail with everything, because, I mean, hell, I was on Sunday as well, doing live reactions, and I basically recapped everything at the end. So you can go check that out too, right here on the channel. Like, follow, and subscribe on social media. So yeah, Becky Lynch, she won by DQ after Ronda came out and interfered. So the stipulation for the match was if Becky won, she would be added to the match at Mania to make it a triple threat for the Raw Women's title. And then if Becky lost, it would only be Ronda versus Charlotte. So Ronda came out and made sure Becky won so that she'd be inserted into the match. So yeah, it's now Ronda versus Becky versus Charlotte at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title. And then the Shield, they won. Shield Powerbomb. They were promoting this as the last time ever for the Shield. I highly doubt it, but if Ambrose is on the outs, if he is going to be leaving, this probably will be the last time ever that the Shield will be together wrestling for the time being, until, obviously somebody makes their return to the company, just like old superstars, wrestlers do after they retire. So, yeah, the Shield defeated Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre in the main event to send the fans home happy. And the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown are this week in Pittsburgh and Dayton. Oh, and before I forget, before I close, one thing I liked that they did on Sunday, they basically had everybody on the roster, whether they are on Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, the main event, superstars. They basically had everybody involved. That's what it looked like. Elias had a couple concerts. He did 3 segments throughout the entire show. And surprisingly, he was not interrupted during the first 2. Third one was right before the main event. And I believe I said it on Sunday. I said, I'm pretty sure I said this. I might have to go back and look at it. Or if you guys want to, you can do that as well. That the Shield would probably come out and interrupt them because that was going to be the upcoming match, the main event of the night. But then they had the camera angle perfect once Lacey Evans came out. She was the actual distraction because he's paying attention to her. They had the camera angle perfect like they do every single time. I don't know how they get it right. They just do. It's WWE. They're perfect 9 times out of 10. But Randy Orton came out of nowhere, RKO on Elias, and then Styles appeared. I don't know where the hell he came from at either. And then he hit a phenomenal forearm on Randy Orton in the middle of the ring. So it looks like it's going to be Styles and Orton at WrestleMania as well. And like I said, they've been practicing during the dark matches, especially last week when I was there at SmackDown, and I have the full video of the entire dark match right here on the channel, so go check it out. Be sure to share it. I thought they did a good job of getting everybody involved because they only had, like I said, like 8 matches on the card going into the show. They added a couple. I think there's about 10 overall, plus a couple segments with all the entrances, video packages, and everything. And the pay-per-view is only about 4 hours long, about 4.5. So I thought they did a good job getting everybody involved because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Most of the time they don't, and then everybody's PO'd and whatnot. So kudos to WWE on that. We'll see what happens on Raw and SmackDown, and then also as we inch closer to WrestleMania weekend in about a month's time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Cool Hand Luke 96, on social media. As always, the links are in the description below.